What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Pull Up and Chat. My name is BJ Mathews, aka B Jizzle. Before we get started, follow us on the YouTube page, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast, Spotify, Iheartradio, TikTok, Twitter, the Pull Up Basketball Podcast. Hit that notification bell by the subscribe button on our YouTube page. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe. All of our YouTube videos get updated content. You know what I'm saying? Let's get it popping. Oh my gosh, man! I know y'all saw that last night, right? Y'all had to see it. The annihilation that took place in LA at the Crypto Center last night, you know what I'm saying, approximately at 7 o'clock p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The LA Clippers took out the Los Angeles Lakers for a fourth straight time this season, 7 times since their last loss, or actually 8 times, if I'm not mistaken. 8 straight wins since the Lakers have won against this Clipper team. Look, I think we got to start having another discussion again about what I was been saying all season. The Clippers have been better than the Lakers. They're a better put together team. They have a better roster. But even right now, I'm still a little bit concerned, like shocked of how the Clippers handled the Lakers again last night. I knew they were going to win, but the way they did it to them is almost as if the Lakers had did something personal to the Clippers and Clippers didn't forget it. So let's get into it. So unveiling the game last night, right? It was good up until the halftime. You know what I'm saying? Both teams were, nip and tuck. You say LeBron was playing very well. Malik Monk was attacking the basket. Austin Reeves. Um, the Lakers are pretty competitive in the first half. And, the Clippers were, playing with them, you know what I'm saying, at the first half. Now, usually throughout the entire season, the Lakers have been having slow starts in the first half. They haven't really been consistent. So you could say that I was a little bit, okay, this is a good sign for the Lakers. They're playing well. They're competing. They're playing hard, it seems like, and things were going good. But then the third quarter came, and that's when things kind of took a turn for the worse for the Lakers. The Clippers, I don't know what Ty Lue said. I don't know what Kawhi Leonard said or Paul George or any of their top players said, but they came out that second half full throttle swinging. And they were putting up threes. They were playing great team defense. They were talking. They were clapping for one another. And oh my gosh, shout out to Bobby Smurder, a.k.a. Reggie Jackson, for what he did to the Lakers single-handedly in the fourth quarter. Big shot guy who, know what I'm saying, for the big moments, Reggie Jackson did his thing, man. Nearly crossing Russell Westbrook to the point where he tore almost his knee up. Shot a big three over LeBron James that put the nail in the coffin. Dare I say more? Crossed up Malik Monk with an in and out dribble in the paint for a layup. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't. There's nothing that you can say that can convince me what I have not been saying that the whole entire year the Clippers have been better than the Lakers for years is not true. After last night, that should be all dead. To the point where LeBron James even said out of his mouth they're a better team. When you've played basketball as long as I have and been around the game, you understand what a team is just by watching them on the court. I don't need a box score to know what I'm looking at. Being on the court, you know who's who. And how the Clippers are constructed, vice versa to the Lakers, I know the Clippers were a superior team, right? But here's the deal. I'm going to say this. What's next? The Clippers are going to the playoffs. The Lakers are not going to the playoffs. They're going to be a playing game. They're going to have to win 2 games. They're going to have to either beat the Clippers, the Timberwolves, or the Pelicans. They're not beating both the Timberwolves or the Clippers. The Pelicans, they have a chance, but even then, they can still get knocked out because we saw the last game they got beat by almost 30 on their home court against the Pelicans. But I digress. What's going to happen with this Laker team? LeBron James, you could tell he's checked out. Russell Westbrook, he's done. Anthony Davis, he can't lead a team to a championship by himself, and they just don't have the right pieces. It's more than just, I think what we've seen with the Lakers, you guys have to understand, and people have to really get to the point. Just because you put a bunch of guys on a team doesn't mean you're going to have a great team. A bunch of names. LeBron, AD, Westbrook, Melo, um, Dwight Howard. All these guys, top-notch players. 4 of those guys, top 575 players of all time, right? Cannot beat a team that has literally a team with no all-stars, led by Reggie Jackson. Y'all remember, Reggie Jackson was damn near out the league before he came to the Clippers. It was Paul George, his best friend, who saved him by bringing him onto the Clippers because in Detroit things didn't work out for Reggie Jackson. Nicholas Batum was in Charlotte. He was a guy nobody really wanted either. Robert Covington was on the downhill of his career. Luke Kennard came out of nowhere with a big contract. People was kind of concerned about if they should give him that type of money. Terrence Mann just became relevant last year. Amir Coffey came from the G League. Isaiah Hartenstein came from the Houston Rockets as a backup center. Visca Zubac is making strides, but there's still questions. My point is that no one looked at this team. There's nothing special about this team to the point where you losing as the Lakers this bad. So that tells me the Clippers have a better system, better coaching, and they fit better than the Lakers. The Lakers do not fit. The moves they made were unsuccessful this season, and we're seeing that in full view. So I'm just looking at this whole situation like, let's give the Clippers credit, man. Let's not make this about the Lakers. I'm seeing so many talk shows, talking about the Lakers, what they did wrong, and talking about instead of talking about what the Clippers did right. This ain't the same paperclip team from back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. You know what I'm saying? This is a totally different team with a totally different owner, totally different coach, totally different superstars, Paul, all stars. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different atmosphere in the Clipper organization. If you guys keep thinking that this is the same Clipper team, they're going to punch you in the face like they did the Lakers last night and surprise you to the point we don't know what happened. The Lakers got hit so hard, they don't know what happened. Watching that post-game press conference with LeBron James, he looked broken. Russell Westbrook was so defensive last night over a reporter's question because he knows deep down inside the season's not going nowhere, but he had to try to save face by saying, is the season over yet? Season's not over yet, but y'all expectations, what y'all are expected to do is not come to fruition, and that kills them. That kills a guy like a Russell Westbrook who's ultra competitive. Anthony Davis, he's probably going to sit out the majority of the rest of the season because there's no point for him to come back because they're not going to compete for a championship. They're going to probably trade some pieces away. So it is what it is. It didn't go through. And, but I just think we got to give the Clippers credit. I don't want to hear nothing else more about the Lakers this. I want to hear about the Clippers being a great team and being good for basketball. Because at the end of the day, anybody who loves basketball, that should be the number one concern, growing the game and making it successful. So that's all my thoughts I got to say about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, share, subscribe all our YouTube videos. You know what I'm saying? Pull up a seat, pull up a chair, pull up. Peace. How do you like swimwear?